Ritchie. Running beyond Walker. Pugh. That'll do it! That will do it! Pugh for Bournemouth! The roof of the Gold Sands is raised! Everyone here knows what that could mean to this football club.
Well, hello and welcome to another match day breakfast here on Back of the Net. I feel a bit weird being on this side personally, Tate. Do you mind?
I don't like it either. No, let's flip. Come on. Oh, that's better.
Anyway, my name's Sam Davis.
I'm Morgan Scott.
And I'm Tiggs.
How are we all, gentlemen? It's apparently I haven't been outside yet, but it's freezing cold. It's blustery. It's not too great, and it probably won't make for a brilliant game of football today, by the sounds of it, Tiggs.
No, it's not. It's not ideal conditions for us, is it? Just looking out the window there. I have been out this morning, and it is windy, and that is a bitter wind. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to tell you what you should pick from your wardrobe today, but I would suggest a pair of gloves. Just saying. I mean, it doesn't make great atmospherics, I should say, for clapping, but nevertheless, I think you want to keep those little fingies nice and warm and toasty today.
Yeah, and Morgan, we all need a bit of a reaction today, don't we? After a performance that was very subdued in the week, let's put it that way.
Yeah, I think first game back of the home fans in front of for the first time in a month. I think we need a reaction and just do the basics right. You know, defend from minute 1 to 90 minutes, grind out the result and get over the line because we didn't do that on Wednesday night. And to be honest with you, the last two AFC Bournemouth performances have been off the peg completely. So we need to bounce back, and it's a good opportunity to do so.
Absolutely right. Weather conditions then, not too great. Now, earlier I was looking at the BBC weather website and it had every symbol going. It had the black cloud, it had the little asterisk. I think was that hail or is that snow?
Yeah.
I don't know. You had a little bit of sun and also you got the raindrop. But that's where it is right now. Fast forward later on then to 3 o'clock. And it's sunny intervals with a fresh breeze, apparently.
Ooh.
Humidity of 67%. Pressure just over the 100 millibars, and visibility is good, but the temperature, that's the important thing. Feels like -1, Tiggs.
I'm wearing two pairs of socks. Two pairs of socks, I reckon, today. Look at that. That's not good. That's not Bournemouth weather. Come on. You know, everyone knows it's sunny Bournemouth with lots of heat and bikinis and whatever else you want to wear on the weekend, Sam. But no, that's not ideal for me. Definitely not. I will be snuggling up to the stranger next to me, no doubt.
Wasn't even that cold in Stoke, was it, to be honest?
No, it wasn't even that cold in Stoke. I'd say, right, are you going to the game today? If you're watching on chat, hello, welcome. We'll go through the messages shortly. If you're going to the game today, put an emoji with how you're feeling about the game. Are you nervous? Are you excited? Is it celebrating party poppers time or what? Let us know. Put an emoji in chat. But also, you can also do us a favor by putting this video in front of more people. If you want to help the channel grow like we do, then hit the thumbs up because that really helps us. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. So the Cherries, they had their second away game against Millwall on Wednesday night in the space of a few days, and it finished 1-1. Solanke put AFC Bournemouth in the lead before Benik Afobe replied with the equaliser in the second half. And Tiggs, yeah, we wanted a reaction. We didn't get it. And now with West Brom slipping up again yesterday, it's all the more important that we get that 3 points today. I certainly hope we can.
Oh, I really hope we can. I really hope we can. I mean, you can look at it two ways, can't you? I mean, you could say West Brom slipped up. We need to capitalise on that. But if we get another draw, we're still 8 points clear of them. So it's not the end of the world, but it just feels like we've hit this little slump. We thought we'd avoided it after the Swansea game, but it does feel a little bit like that. I think, in my opinion, we got out-fought quite literally in the last two games. So if we don't win, but we show fight today, and more fight, and we end up, leaving the game, we should have won it, but we didn't win. I'll be happy with that, to be honest. We are still flying high, and we still are having a very, very good season.
Yeah, we are having a good season, but it's amazing. Well, I said this to Tom on the train, Morgan, that just having 2 players out, and it just seems to upset the whole balance of the side.
Yeah, 100%. I think we were saying off air as well, Sam, just how someone like Jordan Zamora, it's a massive blow for this side. Obviously, he started the season, very mature, came in, had a very good start, and it's just amazing how I think in January, and this isn't sound anything against our squad, we do need a bit more depth. It's a long season, as we know. I think we were alluding to it the other day. Maybe bring Tom Lawrence in, that would be a good signing, and obviously back up for Solanke if there are any issues with him down the line of suspensions or, I don't want to jinx it, but an injury or whatever that could happen. So we do need a bit more, and I think in January we might have to bring 2 or 3 in just to get over, because as you're saying, it's amazing how you take 2 players out of the team and we have this lull period where we're not winning games and we're not anywhere that we want to be. Bournemouth are a good side. We were playing great football. I'm not saying we're not playing good football, but the last 2 results, we should be winning that. That should be 6 points in the bag. And so, oh well.
Yeah, absolutely. Be interesting to see what you've got to say on chat. Let's see who's there. Hello, good morning, Robert, all the way from Australia. We've also got Rob here as well. Chris Hubble's here. Batman, good morning. Aaron Kay's here as well. Chirpy Cherries, let's bounce back and take advantage today. We've got an early prediction from Batman. We'll do our predictions later on, so we won't put it on screen just yet. Scott's here. Good morning, team back of the net. How you doing for this morning? You know what? I'm feeling good about today's match. I'm feeling good. Batman's hungry after the intro. Love it. John Smithers is here as well. We've got Layla here as well. Good morning, Layla. Rob, as I said, who else have we got? Kerry Smith is here. We got Kerry Phillips, all the Kerrys. AFCB Germany's here. Steve Hensman, Burr, yeah, tell me about it. Terry from the States, superb. Carol Toller is here as well. Nice to see you. Steve Hensman is standing in a field, probably doing his kids' football training. Unlucky, mate. Unlucky. Right, what else we got? George, Kevin as well, Paul Horry, and we'll put some more messages on screen later. Are you looking forward to the game today then? I'm sure you are. Make sure you put your emojis in chat. And what we'll do is we'll talk about the team news and what's going on this week, because it should be interesting. Was there a Parker presser? We'll find out from Morgan in a second. So Morgan, was there one?
It's gone to VAR. No, unfortunately there wasn't.
Okay.
But there was article released on the AFC Bournemouth website. Obviously, it's common sense that Philip Billing will be available after serving his 1-match ban. So obviously he will be back in contention to start. Also, head coach Scott Parker has mixed injury news ahead of AFC Bournemouth clash with fellow Championship high-flyer Coventry City. Yeah. Parker admits the past 10 days has been disappointing in terms of injury, but also said there was some slight improvement. He said he would make a late call on Gary Cahill. He came off with, he carried on and soldiered on, but obviously if anyone was watching on Wednesday night, I think it was a rib injury that it's a touch and go if he's going to be fit for today. And Parker said it's a bit busy of a treatment room and we're having to adapt that. I don't know if you saw Sam and Tiggs after the game against Millwall on Wednesday. Parker had the media AFC Bournemouth team said to Parker, do you like having games thick and fast? And his answer simply, and normally he quite enjoys it, most managers do, his answer would be to say that he would like some time off. He said there's a lot of injuries, and when you've got a lot of injuries in the squad, it doesn't give you a lot of time. So that's kind of what Parker had to say.
Interesting. Okay, so Philip Billing looks like he could be thrown back into the mix, and Gary Cahill, we're not so sure. If Gary Cahill wasn't available, who would it be, Tiggs? Because a lot of Bournemouth fans are clamouring for this guy. However, it seems like he's just not in the plans for one reason or another, whether that's decided at managerial level or more than likely, probably, above that, where Scott Parker probably doesn't have a say, Steve Cook could be playing but isn't, which could mean if Cahill wasn't pass fit, we'd be seeing Ibsen Rossi back in. And pairing Mepham, you'd have to say it's an untested defensive partnership.
Yes, and I think if we carry on the way we're going in terms of where Mepham plays, I mean, he's not playing on his natural side in terms of his footedness, is he? Which is then you'd have both of them potentially not playing on their natural side. I think I might be wrong. Maybe Rossi's other footed, but yeah, I think it's really interesting that Steve has been turning up on the bench. That tells you that either you've got so many injuries, you've got no other choice. Or maybe there is a chance. Maybe there is a chance. I mean, at the end of the day, he's a good player, a quality player. So it does feel a bit political. But if Parker's hand is forced, maybe that will change everything for Steve Cook. And all he needs to do is get on that pitch, put in a cracking performance, and he can play. The only thing is we do know, or we don't know, but we think we know, is that we've brought in Gary Cahill. Gary Cahill is the sensible, strong, dependable, centre back. That surely would have been the role for Steve Cook this season. I mean, he's not always been sensible, but you know what I mean. The older head. We never could see a scenario where the two of them are playing next to each other. So when Gary comes back from his injury, if he's not playing today and he's not in contention today, then that might then cut the wings off Steve Cook and we're back to the beginning again. I don't know. It's hard. I'd love to see him get on the pitch, because I do think that he is an asset to this football club.
Tiggs, why do you think Mepham is getting so much grief? If you go onto the Facebook forums where 95% of the people on there don't go to games anyway, so I'm not even sure what they're watching. I think sometimes it's just trendy to scapegoat a particular player. Didn't do anything wrong against Derby. It was Jack Stacey that was more culpable for our goals. He had a fairly solid performance against Millwall. Maybe the goal could have been down to him not winning a header. Not too sure. When the player's in front of you, there's very little that you can do with that. But he's getting a lot of flack unnecessarily. Why are we so concerned where we've got a Wales international that performs unbelievably for them and plays on the left side for Wales? Why do we get so concerned?
I don't really know. I think there's a historic thing. Like his name always comes up when the team sheets come out. You get the odd people go, oh. Which is, I think it just goes back to, doesn't it, when we're in the playoffs and he had one bad game. I don't think he's a bad player, but I think he's a great player. I also think that he's finding it hard because he's being asked to do a job that Lloyd Kelly was doing, which is being that defender who's got that pace, who can make up for the other defenders around, who can get back, almost sweeping. And I don't think Mepham's a great player, but I don't think that's his natural role. It's not what we've made him to do previously. Also, we play a really, really high line sometimes. And I don't think if you're going to change your centre-backs, you're going to change your back four, then maybe playing a high line still is not a great idea, especially if you're up against a team that's like Derby fighting for their lives, and are going to be pressing on us the whole time, especially if you're in the lead. Maybe we don't need to keep that high line. Maybe we're inviting trouble on. And I don't think that's really fair when the players are blamed for that.
I think one of the things that Chris Mepham doesn't offer us that Lloyd Kelly does is the ability to get forward and just that natural inclination to go forward and to overlap and underlap and do all that stuff. Plus his distribution as well. Lloyd Kelly, for all that we've talked previously about sort of only one in four of his long passes working, more recently his distribution has been getting better, and the amount of times he's found that run from Dom Solanke. He's just peeling off the back of the defender, and that creates then so much space, and we can all move forward. Whereas Chris Mepham is not that kind of player. It'd be really interesting now to chat to someone who has questioned why some Bournemouth fans are talking about Chris Mepham in a certain way. And that's John Spark, who's with us now. John, morning. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Back to the regular Saturday, Wednesday stuff. So, glad there's plenty of games coming up, even if the squad maybe is struggling to keep up with it at the moment.
Yeah, it seems that way. So, Chris Mepham, I noticed a couple of your tweets earlier in the week, noting that he has been scapegoated somewhat, where there were some players that were probably more culpable for the blame. What are your thoughts on him? And, does him being at the back fill you with confidence?
Well, I think it's pretty clear why people don't like Chris Mepham is because he had such a horrible season last year. I mean, the amount of mistakes he made, no one was supporting Chris Mepham. He was getting unbelievable pelters on Twitter, on all kinds of social media, and there's an element to say that his performances are, in very large quotations, deserved it. The amount of stick was not acceptable. He got far too much. He was, there's an element online that people are just feel free to say whatever they like because there's the anonymity, there's the fact that they won't get chased up on it, and really, where is the legal line between what is acceptable and unacceptable regarding what you post talking about someone online? And it never was. And I think people have got too much of an opinion that is still embedded in them of Chris Mepham will make the mistake that costs us, because he did it consistently through the league, and then obviously he did it in the biggest moment of our season last year in the playoff final. But I think people need to move on from those situations and actually judge him on how he is performing now. And the fact that you had a lot of people saying after the Derby game, we need to drop Mepham and bring Cook in. There is no legitimate reason, looking at that Derby game, why out of all three defenders, other than Mepham, you could pick on Mepham, because he didn't make any mistakes. He wasn't the best on the ball, and I did grant that in my tweet. It's more so that he's being played on the wrong side, and he's been told to do the job that Kelly does on the incorrect side. If you swapped Cahill and Mepham, bearing in mind Gary Cahill is a Champions League winning left centre-back, and Chris Mepham has played right centre-back through his entire career. If you swap those two and then told Mepham, okay, now I want you to be the ball-playing centre-back, he would do a better job of it because he's coming onto his more comfortable side and he's able to spray the pass a little bit more. Now, Kelly is, if not the best, one of the best centre-backs in the Championship at progressive passes this season. So, when you lose someone as important as Kelly and bring in a player like Mepham, who is good, just not as good as Kelly, it is going to negatively affect us. But the whole team needs to make up for that as well. It's not just Kelly's job. It's not just Mepham's job. And unfortunately, Mepham is a scapegoat as a sort of a consequence of how indifferent and poor he was last season.
Yeah. You know what? Some really interesting comments there. What are your thoughts on Chris Mepham, Morgan?
I think, firstly, can I say that he played, where we said at Reading, didn't we, how good when he came on for that 20 minutes at left back. Obviously, he doesn't normally play left back, he's a centre half. But I thought he looked really comfortable there for 20 minutes. Of course, he's lacking a little bit of pace getting forward. But at that point in the game, we were trying to see it out and go defensive. So that was great. And also, last season, I know he didn't have the best of seasons, but I don't know about you, Sam. You remember that game at Dean Court against Brentford and Steve Cook went down and we were all, I don't know, most people were really nervous and he came on and he had an absolute blinder and he delivered. I know in the second game, he got sent off. Okay, that's not great in big game, but it happens sometimes. But in that game, he delivered a great performance. I think with Mepham, sometimes it's all about confidence. If people are slating him on social media and whatever and saying, oh, you're rubbish, that's going to go to his head. But he did do a bit about social media, didn't he? He came out and had in an interview, sometimes that happens in football and you kind of just got to rise above it, and that's why social media isn't always great. But I think Mepham can be a great player. I just think sometimes consistently it's a little bit tricky, but I think he's a good player, and I'm sure if people get behind him, I think he just needs a bit more confidence and regular game time. I don't know, that's not to sound negative, but I think he just needs more game time because, as you alluded to, Sam, he's great for Wales, just sometimes in a Bournemouth shirt, it doesn't always go his way.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said, Morgan. Well said. We've got a number of people. We asked earlier on for your emojis about how you're feeling about the game today. Layla is in party mode by the looks of it with the what are those things called, Tiggs? You must know. Those things. It's got one of them in her mouth. What's that?
Cigars?
No, not that. I can't remember what they're called.
I don't remember what they're called either.
Bloody
They're the things. Someone in chat must know. You blow into them and they go.
Yeah. Anyway, she's excited, whereas Steve Hensman's a little bit more tentative. Carol Toller's got all the smiles. Rob Cook's here, feeling strong about it. Carrie Phillips, let's go. She's well up for this, it seems. Liam Humby is here as well. And Dee is giving us some, what's that, some weather, some cloud. Yeah, it's going to be freezing. So make sure, if you've just joined us, make sure you wrap up warm because it's going to feel like -1 apparently today. Coventry City, I mean, this is a top 6 clash, John. But the way they play could perhaps favour our style of football.
Yes, is what you'd hope. The other thing is that Coventry aren't in the greatest of form either. Now, Bournemouth, obviously, we're well aware that we've dropped off with 1 win in 4, which is, our worst run of the season, and 2 defeats as well, obviously. But, Coventry, they're not steamrolling their way up into the top 6 as they were earlier on in the season. They're 4th. Still doing way better than anyone would expected. I think they've got the 3rd lowest budget in the division, so very much the Barnsley of this year in that regard. But yeah, they are much more of a ball playing team, and they do like to press high, and they do have players that really can make the most of any opportunities. You've got the likes of Harmer, the likes of O'Hare, who is. I mean, O'Hare is one of the best players in the Championship. I don't think there's any doubt about that. And then Gyökeres, who's come out of nowhere to become one of the top scorers in the Championship. When you've got a team that can go 1-0 down against Fulham and then turn it around and absolutely smash them the way they did, which was a very impressive showing. I watched the whole of that game. It was really fun to watch. It's going to be tough. Without the likes of Kelly, with a couple of players that maybe aren't showing the greatest form, this is going to be a much tougher test than it has done that maybe you would have thought of in the past. But it should be quite an even game, I would say. And I mean, I'm hoping we edge it, but team selection is going to be interesting for us as well. Obviously, you mentioned before talking about is it going to be Cook, is it going to be Cahill? And I was looking back, I thought I might have seen, because the Cook and Ibsen Rossi were both on the bench against Derby. I was hoping one of them might have made the bench earlier on in the past few games, but they haven't. So there's actually no way to tell which one is in favour above the other. So, I mean, I'm guessing that Cahill will play, but I wouldn't mind seeing Cook play because it would force Meppel onto the right and we'd have some slightly better, combination of ball players at the back. But I'm also wondering about that number 6 position, because Kilkenny has not been all that great recently. Unfortunately, he's been pressured very well by opposition attackers, and he's struggled. And Lewis Cook was okay when coming on, so that'll be interesting. But players not in the greatest form need to come back into hopefully get back to winning ways. But this is going to be a very tough game.
So, what's your prediction for today, then, John?
I'm going to go with a high-scoring draw. I'm going to go 2-2.
2-2. All right, nice one. John, thanks for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, guys. Enjoy.
Cheers. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Very interesting comments that he had to say there. Tiggs, midfield-wise, I mean, there's always the question of which 3 is he going to play, and I don't know. Kilkenny, do you think he could edge it?
I think he could edge it. I've not been, I know that that Lewis Cook's an incredible player, but I'm not convinced that he's quite there yet either. So I would probably start Kilkenny. Do we know? Has we said anything about Pearson? Was there anything in that little release, Morgan, about Pearson that came out?
Yeah, him and Brady have both got grade 1 injuries, which are between 7 to 10 days. 10 and 14 days, sorry. So they won't be included. So I think Kilkenny might be a sensible option if you're thinking about that. I know we'll go on to it later in the show, but I think Kilkenny might just edge it today. But we never know, do we? We got such a squad, we just don't know.
This could be the game where Parker has to keep changing things up as well. I think it's going to be one of them. A bit like where we dropped Lerma back in the previous home game. So, yeah.
Be very interesting. We've got Alec standing by, but before we bring in Alec, that we need to do the old Saturday morning classic. And we said if we get enough likes, we'll bring this person on. We've not quite hit the amount of thumbs up that we need, but we're going to bring him on anyway. And that person seems to be invisible here today.
Oh my goodness.
How are you doing that?
The magic This is the back of the net experience, boys and girls. This is what we all want for a Saturday morning. Isn't it?
That's beautiful. How are you, Marky?
Good. Yeah, I'm really good, guys. Morning, Tiggs.
Morning, mate.
And hello, Sam. Hey,
Hello.
there's a theme for today's show.
Mm.
I'm going to put my Bournemouth head on, not my silly head on.
Like it.
And it's all around scapegoats. And I'm listening, thinking, I'm thinking of other scapegoats. And I don't wonder if other people can use the chat, because I'm thinking, here's other ones that people have thrown under a bus.
Yeah.
So we've done it to Billing. Yeah.
Yeah.
When we didn't do very well in the Premier League. Gosling always seemed to be a favourite for people as well. And all this stuff. Okay, I thought it was really good what John was sharing about Mepham. That was really good words. And it's just safe to say, listen, guys, many people haven't seen Kristen Warren play, so you can't compare.
Kristen Warren. Oh my God, mate.
I know. I'm just thinking. Can you think of other scapegoats over the seasons? That seems to be the when things. Because this is my other thing I'm learning this week. I don't like going on Twitter again. I don't like going on Facebook. You alluded to it, Sam. I don't like it. Where we shouldn't get sucked into it, but we do read it, and it does feel unjustified what people share. But I'm just other ideas. What you guys are thinking over the season? Who has been easy for us to people to point fingers at and say it's his fault? Get him out of the club. Yeah. Get him.
Well, I think that you could even choose a whole group here, Marky. You could say goalkeepers. I think almost every goalkeeper that's played for this football club at some point has been at the fault for so many things. Think, the guy hasn't got much to do all game long. He's got one thing to do, but if the ball shouldn't get to him if we're that good, should it? I mean, everyone else should be doing their job. So goalkeepers, I'm going to chuck the whole lot in there.
Marky, you've given me, you've got your full of graphics. Can you do a light bulb above your head or anything like that? Have you got the option of doing that?
Listen, I'm not your little performing whatever that you get rock up and he's there doing his silly and he's doing this silly stuff with his hands again. Gentlemen, go.
Hey, look at that.
Oh, it's all fun, isn't it? It's all fun. It's like, let's roll him out. Let's give him a big head.
Oh my God.
Let's do this. This is like the days of when we all discovered Zoom at the start of lockdown and having these silly filters.
Mate,
and I'm here today having a serious conversation. Smith's another good scapegoat. We always like to throw Smith. Yeah, Smith. I'm just trying to go back. Are these people that are quite good? Not the classic Faradays and people like that, but people that are good that we've been easy to say.
Dom.
And as Martin says, Steve Fletcher at the start for the first couple of seasons, he had it hard, and he wanted to go back. He wanted to go back, and he got a lot of stick from the terraces. He really did, but he stuck with it. And obviously, look how he turned things around. And look, if I had the graphics, I'd put a light bulb above my head. Here's a video idea, Tiggs. We're doing this live. A scapegoat 11.
Yes.
We're building our scapegoat 11. That's a good idea, isn't it? Kirk will probably get there first now. But what an idea.
Yeah, I like that. Benik Afobe. Benik Afobe. I mean, he got a really hard time. I think he must have enjoyed scoring against us. I'll tell you right now.
I hear he was clapping though. He was quite appreciative at the end, wasn't he, Sam?
Yeah, he was. At the end, we were all singing his name, and he came over and gave us a round of applause. It is a bit weird, though. We are so fickle because only a few seasons ago, we were singing that chant to almost, goad a player when they missed the target.
Irony. Yeah.
And now, obviously he's had some tragic circumstances in his life.
Yeah.
I think as time has moved on, we've seen how well he's done, personally, just as a man, but also as a footballer as well. I think he's doing very well for Millwall. And it was nice to have that little moment between us because let's face it, when Callum Wilson was out, and when Benik Afobe and Josh King were up front for Bournemouth, we had our best ever season. So come on, we've got to give him some credit. And I think that whilst we signed him for a fair bit of money at the time, I think I worked out at the time that, if you take away his goals, it would have put us about 5 places down the table of the final season table. So for £2 million for every position. So, he was an astute signing based on his goals alone. So, yeah, that was a really nice moment. Jordan Ibe was probably one of the scapegoats that maybe didn't quite fulfill his potential. Well, he didn't, did he? But most of the other ones that we have sort of scapegoated have come good, I think. Have they?
Yeah, I think most of them have. Yeah.
I think John alluded to it earlier that the unfortunate thing that Mepham has is last season, and that unfortunately he's been tagged with that, and that's what we're like as football fans sometimes, is that as we said, people have proved themselves, like Billing, and but some of us, short memories and big games where they didn't happen, and that's what we tend to remember. It's just an unfortunate thing when seeing him play so far. I'm not going to, we can't moan. He is a good player. It would be awful. I'd like to see someone come on, perhaps like a Coventry fan today, or whatever. Hey, maybe that guy was right last week by saying we don't have depth.
Oh my God! Yeah, you never know.
Right.
Yeah. So, Marky, you fired it up earlier. I know you did, because from here in Poole, I could see just over in your direction. I could see the black smoke. The time machine was being fired up. Tell us what the score was today.
Sam, we've got to get to this point because it's an important part of this morning's proceedings. And I'm not going to go as raucous as I did, but I've seen it because we're getting it back on track, guys. We did it 2-0. Get it! We did it!
Marky Masters, thank you so much. Have a lovely day, sir. Have a lovely day.
Have a good weekend, everyone. See you soon.
Thank you, mate.
The Cherries.
He'll be going back to 1984 to give back that Cobra Kai t-shirt now.
Love it. Great reference, Morgan.
Yeah.
Always nice to have a bit of energy on the show, eh?
Yeah, very, very good. My energy's a bit flat. It's been a busy week. I wish I had a time machine like him, but no, it's been a busy week, hasn't it? No, it's really good to see Marky coming on at this time in the morning when most people are half asleep, and he's delivering an A-class performance. So, Marky, thank you very much indeed.
We can't not talk about the opposition that we're playing today. They're 5th in the league at the moment. But before that, we've got to chat to Alec, who's standing by and who's been patient and looks like he's on the road already. Hello, Alec. How are you doing, mate?
Hello. Yeah, I'm good. Thanks. How are you guys?
Yeah,
Very
right. You're
good.
not driving, are you, Alec?
No, my dad's. Right.
Just checking.
Alec, we understand that a tragic thing happened along the lines of this to your mug. Is that right? We'll send you another one, mate.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
That's unbelievable. Honestly, right? Smash-proof boxes. That's what they were. Smash-proof. Bollocks. Oh, honestly. Anyway, Alec, how you feeling about the game today? Because it's not been 2 matches that have been very Bournemouthy, have they?
Well, I mean, we're going to be a bit nervous going in. We've got, I think, 8 players injured. If we count Cahill, our depth has been knocked out. Really, we've just failed to perform over the past couple of games, and I feel like the run might continue today if we aren't careful.
Yeah, absolutely. Morgan, can I just take you out 1 second? Because I'm just going to run by an idea, okay? Right. So I think we got to do a bit of carpool karaoke here. So basically... Right, Steve, what's on the radio? What are you singing?
Oh, that's a good point. What is on the radio? I don't know. Bit of Adele.
Oh, is that Adele?
Can you not hear it?
Oh, beautiful. Alex, come on, sing along.
No, you ain't getting that from me this time in the morning.
Oh, anyway.
Good morning, gents.
Good morning. We'll bring Morgan back in as well, because I think it's unfair to have him left out there. So yeah, we spoke to Alec very briefly. Steve, you're wrapped up warm.
Oh, mate, it's to coin a phrase, it's a bit brass monkeys out there, and this is the beauty of having young children on a Saturday morning. I've got 2 out here in front of me. Well, Adam's on his way back. Actually, I've retreated already, and I've got another 15 minutes to wait for Ben to turn up. But I couldn't handle it anymore, to be fair. So I've retreated to the car with my coffee.
So you're doing that dad thing on the touchline, instructing them very forcefully, like telling him where to stand. You've actually retreated to your car.
No, I couldn't really open my mouth. It was that cold.
Oh my god! Oh no, is that bad?
That could be a good
yeah,
thing
it's
for me
horrible.
later today, couldn't it?
Yeah, let's hope that continues, Morgan.
Thanks, Steve. Good job. This is only banter. Good job, I know you. But
Yeah.
Back to Alec then. So a big game today. It's important that we make a little bit of a statement. But what do you think he's going to do at the back, Alec?
I mean, I feel like Ibsen Rossi is going to come first because he's made a statement really saying Cook's not part of our plans. I'd love to see him play on with him on the left, Metham on the right. I mean, I don't know if Cahill will be fit. I feel like he might be on the bench, but not just witnessing. I feel like we're probably going to play Ibsen Rossi and have what's the word? Sort of a back four that's never really played together.
Yeah. Wow. So what's your prediction today, buddy?
I mean, I feel like it's gonna be a 1-1. I feel like we're gonna have to try and scrape a point here. I feel like it's gonna be a very defensive game. I feel like Lerma's probably gonna sometimes be a third centre back five, because they got I don't know his name. The Icelandic, the Midlands Messi, I think they call him. That I just feel like
who's that for Coventry?
Yeah, Coventry. Yeah.
Yeah, he's an excellent player. Victor, I can't pronounce his Gycores.
I can't pronounce it. Yeah, him. I feel like he's going to cause us some problems, and I just don't see it being a win. I mean, it could be. Could be very easily, but at the same time, I mean, it's either it's going to go. There's a few ways it could go here, with either us winning, either us drawing. But like, I feel like it's just going to be a boring 1-1 draw, just defending for most of the game.
All right, mate. Well, safe journey down. Hope to see you at full time if possible, buddy, for a quick chat. Be really nice if you can. And up the cherries. Safe journey. See you later on.
Cheers.
Nice one. Up the chairs. Cheers. Oh, come on then. Can we get Adam on? Do you
want to go on? Joselo?
Yeah. Let's get him on.
Oh,
hopefully we can. The thing is though, I'll ask him for a prediction, and then he'll go and say to me, "How am I supposed to know? I can't predict the future." However, I'm going to ask him.
Can you predict the future?
How are you, mate? You all right?
Good.
How was football?
Good.
Did you score a goal?
Yes.
How many? How many did you score?
1.
Oh, superb. Are we going to score today? Are Bournemouth going to score?
Yeah.
Right. What's your prediction for today, then, buddy?
2-1.
Who's scoring?
Solanke and Billing.
Oh, that's what we like to hear, Tiggs, isn't it?
Yeah, I like that. I like the sound of that. I think that's a good shout. Definitely.
Love it. Steve, and what are your thoughts about today, apart from being freezing cold?
Well, I think it's going to be a tricky one. As John said earlier, Coventry aren't where they are because they're much improved than what they were last season. I kind of liken them a little bit to what we were when we went up. We had that first season where we did okay, and then the second season we really pushed on. And obviously, what we achieved is history now. But they seem in the same sort of ilk a little bit. So yeah, it's going to be a tough one, and conditions are going to be awful today. Yeah. It's blowing an absolute hoolie. So John might be right in a high scoring, encounter. I think we do need to react. We've had a couple of poor performances. Well, like I said, three losses in, was it 1 win and 4, isn't it? So yeah, I think we'll have enough to just edge it today. But I'm going for. I think John's right. I think maybe. I'm going to go for 3-1.
Oh, love it. Are you sat next to anyone exciting today, Steve?
Well, there's some reprobate that apparently is sitting in our stand in the Mac Shack, slumming it with the gutter snipes like us. Yeah,
why not? Something different. I'm going to queue that a little bit longer for a wee. I'll probably
you're definitely going to be queuing longer for a wee.
Yeah, I'll be queuing up for a coffee on about 30 minutes, and probably
you certainly won't be queuing for a beer. That's for sure.
No, I know. Put the violins out.
Maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah, maybe it is. Steve, Adam, thanks for coming on. Nice to see you.
Bye.
See you later on. Have the cherry. See you later, lads. Superb. Great to see them on. Right. Yeah, we need to talk about our opposition, right? And the manager of Coventry City is Mark Robbins. He's been their manager since March 2017. Last season, his side finished in 16th position with 55 points. But at the moment, they, after 19 games, are in 5th on 32. So they're showing an improvement. His club made a number of signings over the summer transfer window, most of them permanent. Now, their strength this season has been with their home form, as I think a few people have said already. And they're second behind Fulham in that regard, with the same number of points in the home table. Away, though, not so good. The last match against Coventry City for AFC Bournemouth, that was in April. We won 4-1. Our goals were Dan Juma with a brace and also Brooks and Solanke. And that was the 4th win in that run of 7 that we had. And they do have a few players to watch. And Callum O'Hare's one of them. Morgan, do you know much about him?
I don't. But I know that
I love putting you on. I love putting you on the spot, mate. I love.
I don't like it at all. No, I don't. But I thought he had and the commentators kept mentioning him on the way up to Derby. I was watching the Sheffield United Coventry game on the way up and doing a bit of research about Coventry. I haven't really seen much of them because I'm always watching Bournemouth these days. But no, he had a good game. To be fair, he's quite a good midfielder. Am I right, Sam? I think I'm pretty adamant.
Yeah, he's a really important player in their midfield. He leads with 3 assists for Coventry. He broke his goal-scoring duck recently with a goal at home against Bristol City. But their leading scorer is Victor Tiggs. What's the surname?
Cherries. Did you get that?
Yeah, exactly. And he scored 9 goals with 2 assists. And
yeah, he's a beast.
He had a goal-scoring spell in September up to the beginning of October where he scored 7 goals in 6 games. So he seems to be one of those confident strikers. Since then, he's had a bit of a barren spell. Matt Godden has scored 5 goals in his last 7 games. And also Gustavo Harmer is also another player to look out for as well. In their last match against Birmingham City in midfield, he was man of the match. So they're going to be a tough side. But in terms of head-to-heads at Dean Court recently, we've had the edge. Do we need to find out what people are predicting, Morgan?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Yeah. Now, before we get to the people's predictions, make sure you put your predictions in the chat now. Go. Put your predictions. Morgan is going to run through them quickly. If you're a Sky Blues fan and you're watching this, you're coming down to Dean Court, check out the Away Fans Guide that talk about the pubs and places where you can go in the local area to experience the best of a match day at AFC Bournemouth. Just go to our latest tweet at AFCB podcast or search for Away Fans Guide AFC Bournemouth on YouTube, and then you should find it there. You'll give your predictions shortly. We'll give ours. But what about YouTube sensation Ben HD, Championship YouTuber? Always love having him on the channel. And this was his view about what on earth is going to happen today.
So then we go to Bournemouth up against Coventry. This should be an interesting game. Bournemouth are involved in that 1-1 draw in midweek. Thought they were probably missing someone like Philip Billing in that game. Obviously, he was serving a suspension for picking up the yellow cards, but he will be back for this weekend. And Bournemouth in general, like a lot of teams at the moment, do seem to have quite a few first-teamers out. I think this game, though, will show what they're really made of, because both sides are heading into what is quite a tricky run of fixtures from now on in their next couple. You know, after this, Bournemouth have games against Fulham and Blackburn, 2 really quite tricky matches, and Coventry have back-to-back games against Bournemouth and followed up by West Brom. So yeah, this will be a really interesting point of the season for both of them. I do think this will be a good game of football. I would like to say that there will be chances created, and especially after all the 0-0 draws that we had in the Championship in midweek, I'd like to put my hopes on this one being a good game of football at least. But for a score prediction, I think I'm just edging towards Bournemouth in this game. I know things haven't quite clicked for them in recent matches, but I think they may get back into their groove in this one. Coventry created some great chances in midweek against Birmingham. Probably should have won that game with the opportunities they had, but Bournemouth may be getting back to their best. I'm just going to edge the home side for a 2-1 home victory.
So there he is. Ben HD is going for a Bournemouth win. What are you going for? You're probably wanting to see the stats and our win record. Well, look at that, 67% at home versus their 22 away. Put it all together and it looks like Bournemouth should be winning. But Morgan, what are the all-important people of YouTube and Facebook saying today?
John's here. We're going to go with a home win, 2-1 to the Cherries. Stephen here as well, 2-1 to Boscombe. 3-1 says Chris to Bournemouth. 2-2 says Kevin. Cameron, 2-1 to the Cherries. Robert's here with 2-1 as well. 3-0 says Martin, confident, like it. 2-1 to AFCB. 2-1 to the Cherries. Neil says 1-0 home win, like that as well. 2-0 says Mark. Carol says 3-0 to AFC Bournemouth. Ben's here. Got to meet Ben the other day. 1-0. Captain Cookie says, I would like that to happen. Noah says 2-1. And Paul Kenwood says 4-3. Scott says 3-1 to the Bournemouth. 4-3 says Neil. 3-1 says Dan. 2-1 says Heather. 3-0 says Charlie. 2-0 says Rob.
And that looks like those are all the predictions. So they're all fairly confident. Oh, also, who else?
1-0 to the Cherries, says Liam.
Liam Humby.
Legend.
Right. So one of the people who commented on there, well, you know, many of us were close to him in our own ways, but kneeled down. Of course, this is our first home match, Tiggs, since Nonny's passing. So it's going to be a very, very sad time for us. We know when his funeral is going to be next month, etc. But you know what? It's going to be such a big loss, and we've spoken about this before, haven't we, Tiggs? But it's so important that whilst we can't make the same noise that he did, you can't replace him. He's irreplaceable. It would be good if we could be as loud as we possibly could at Dean Court in memory and tribute to John Garrod, but also, as he would have wanted, to get the team over the line, not just today, but this season. Huge loss, isn't he?
Yeah, and that's exactly what you would have wanted. You know, with all the tributes that we had the other week, I'll be honest, I could hear his voice ringing in my ears all week long, and I just hope that continues today. I know he won't be there, but his memory will continue, and we can all be as loud as we possibly can be for him. That'd be great. Do you remember the end of last season before COVID, or the season before COVID hit? And, you know, Red Army was the, you know, it always has been the charm, but really was. And he started it off and we all kept it going. I remember we kept it going for about 25 minutes, one of those games. And I don't see why we can't do that. It'd be great. It'd be great to do that. It'd be a great tribute to him, and it'd be a great tribute to him as many games as we can. Yeah.
And look, it was fair play that at the first game afterwards, it was the Derby game, I think. And, you know, the person who sort of did the Red Army chant is, you know, it's brave, you know, to do that. But then afterwards, we all sang, "We love you, Nonny, we do." And it was so nice. It was a lovely moment. And look, I'm sure the club are doing their own thing. They have released like a number of bits and bobs via their website and on social media as well. And it's going to be a huge loss. But you know what, Morgan? It's important that the fans get behind the boys today, isn't it? And we can be as loud as we can be. We have seen on the away day tier lists how bad home atmospheres have been. But then we went to Derby County. And look what happened, Morgan. That was their fans were unbelievable, and they managed to get their team over the line. So that's what we need to do, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. We were saying, I think we were saying that Derby was one of the best of the season in terms of home fan, and you're 100% right. Sometimes the atmosphere at Dean Court can get a bit silent at time. Today, I would like everyone to just be singing throughout the game, just to cheer on the boys, and hopefully we can get the 3 points, especially for Nonny for his first game. For the first game back at Dean Court in over a month. So yeah, it'd be really, really good. And hopefully the 3 points come home at 5 o'clock this evening. So yeah, really excited for today.
Yeah, really excited for today. So at this point in time, I think it's only fair that we pick our team, hey? So that's exactly what we're going to do. Is the graphic playing for you?
Yeah, it was lovely. Yeah. Thank you.
It didn't play for me. It didn't play. Right. Okay. Time to pick our predicted team then. And to do so, we've got Tiggs, we've got Morgan, but also you on chat. It'd be really interesting to see what you've got to say in terms of the side that is going to be fielded today. There's a lot of interesting decisions that can be made, but a lot of it, I suppose, Tiggs, is pinned around whether Cahill's going to be fit, right?
It is really. I mean, I do think a lot of it as well in terms of our recent performances have come back to that change of the back line. I hope that if Cahill's not thought, not going to be fit enough, that Parker's really thought about not just the personnel, but maybe the way we play. But we'll see. We'll see.
And Morgan, that midfield three is also a big question for him as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think we'll go on to it in a second. But Kilkenny, Lewis Cook, it's going to be interesting. Obviously, we know Ben Pearson, aka Alan. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what we select in that, and maybe people on chat can help us as well because we don't know it all ourselves.
You know what? The website that we usually use is down, so we can't. I haven't got a backup, but you know what? If you can't display a decent website, let's just display a decent face instead, and that face is this guy, Simon Kay. You're right, Simon.
That bloody build up there. My God.
Oh, I just had to. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you very much. Oh, look at this paper.
Oh, look at this graphics.
Okay.
I'm loving it.
We going Travers in goal?
We are so 21st century. Yeah. Travers in goal.
I'll write it down as we do it, and I'll put it on the screen at the end.
All right,
there's a bit of a change up happening today, Sam, because I haven't been taking the to the games.
No.
Because it was a good thing not to take it. But Heather, Phil Bill's #1 fan, has requested today that I take it and put it in my back pocket. So she thinks it's time for the luck to change. So hopefully this means the Phil Bill will score today.
Yeah.
And we'll win 3-1. And I think Christie gets his first goal today as well.
Christie with his first goal. Excellent. So, Morgan, talk us through your chosen back four for this, because let's just assume. Should we just assume Cahill's going to be past fit? Because that's what Parker was alluding to.
Yeah, we'll go with that, shall we?
Yeah. So, do you want to talk us through the back four?
Yeah, 100%. So we'll go with Jack Stacey at right back, Tiggs.
Okay, Jack.
And then we'll go with Cahill.
What next to him on the right hand side of the defence or the left hand centre back? Which way do you want to play in, Morgan?
Simon, can you help me out? Where would you like to play Cahill?
Well, I think if it's going to be the same, he's going to be on the right. I mean, I'd like to see him play on the left because I think Meffin would be better on the right, but I can't see him changing it. So on the right.
Cahill, all right.
And then should we go with Meps? Because I think that's what's going to happen and being realistic. I would like Cook to come back in, but being realistic, I think Meps is going to stay there.
Yeah.
And then obviously it's going to be Davis at left back.
Okay.
Davis at left back as well. Okay. A lot of people are saying Steve Cook, but whether he's in favour or not, we just don't know. So, what are we saying that in the midfield three then, Morgan, Lerma and Billing are shoe-ins? They're definitely going to be in.
I would definitely say Lerma. I would also say what people were saying at Derby that Billing was, and obviously he missed that great opportunity with the header that should have been in the back of the net. But I assume that he wouldn't drop Billing now. He off his yellow and back in. So yeah, I would have to play Billing as well.
Yeah,
okay, brilliant.
Interesting. And then the wide men, Simon. This I suppose if you're playing those midfield three, it probably speaks for itself, doesn't it?
Yeah, back to normal. Christie on one side, Anthony on the left.
By the way,
what works better?
Did you what did you drink your morning cup of tea or coffee out of this morning, Simon? Did you?
I did actually drink it out of a marvelous back of the net mug.
Lovely.
I did.
Lovely.
It was the first thing I did this morning, and I was like, if I can fit it in with dog walks and everything else, I'll try and get on here. So yeah, first kettle warmer, first cup of tea, back of the net mug.
I love it. Love it. And then obviously Dom Solanke up front, Morgan, I'm guessing. And you know what is he's been pivotal this season for us. What was it? 15 goals he's got now, is it?
I think it's 16 in 20, isn't it?
Is it 15? I can't. It's like 15 in the league, I think.
Yeah, maybe one in the. Yeah.
But But it's not just his goals, is it? It's the build-up play as well, the way he comes quite deep and collects the ball. But sometimes he has these quiet sort of games every so often, doesn't he, Morgan? So I'm hoping that today is going to be one of these matches where we start fast, he can score early, maybe score a couple of goals in the first half and not get the hat trick, because that's what happens to him, right?
Yeah, hopefully he can go on and get the all-important hat trick. But yeah, just sometimes he does have a quiet game, but don't all strikers. And when he turns up well. He scored it obviously against Millwall. He's in much better form. But what goes so underrated from him is the energy and the press and how hard he works up top, how well he leads the line. And he's always, when he's fit and available, he's always the first name on that team sheet. So yeah, Solanke, incredible. And hopefully he'll go on and get better and better and better.
Brilliant.
Who do we say would be in the six? Sorry, was it going to be
I was just
Cook
going to say
or
the same thing in terms of who's going to be that midfielder in those three. It's Kilkenny or Lewis Cook, isn't it? I think the way Coventry play, for me, this is one where I play Kilkenny.
Yeah, I agree. I think with Tiggs was alluding to it earlier. Lewis Cook isn't quite up to speed, and I think he did all right when he came on against Millwall, and I think he did okay for 65 minutes against Derby. But yeah, Gavin as I like to call him, can fit in there.
So Tiggs, does that complete our side that we've got?
Yeah, just wait a minute. Yeah, okay. Just
right,
let's lines on there in case the lads aren't sure.
Let's by the pass it. Scroll it down. Just look at these graphics that we've got. Oh my god, beautiful, beautiful. Love the little cheeky Leif Davis smile there. Yeah. Oh, look at that. He's got the arrows in.
Yeah, just
Sky can't do this.
I know.
This is brilliant.
Beautiful.
Sam, can we go with this from now on? This is brilliant.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Simon, what's your prediction for today?
I'm going to go for a 3-1 today. I haven't done 3-1 much. On Kirk's watch along last weekend, I was tragically wrong because I was very upbeat at half time, thinking we'd end up winning 4-2 or something. Yeah. But 3-1 today, because I've said the 3 goal scores I think we're going to get, and I can't see Coventry not scoring against our back four. Yeah. So 3-1.
3-1. Lovely stuff. Simon, looking forward to seeing you later, and up the cherries, my friend.
Take care. Up the cherries. 3 points, please.
Up the cherries. I suppose we should give a little shout out to James McCaffrey, who is doing his thing. It's the run ride for David Brooks. And if you want to donate to that, it's afcbpodcast.com/DB7. He's doing so many miles, both running and on his bike. Make sure you support him, because monies are going to a very good place. Morgan, then, did I give I'm not sure if I got a prediction from you, did I?
No, and I'm glad you asked. So I'm going back in my time machine to last year. Ooh. And I quoted that when we played Coventry away, that it was a hideous performance and we still won 3-1. So I'm going to go 3-1 today in memory of my bad quote last season. So yeah, 3-1 to AFC Bournemouth.
Tiggs.
Do you know what? Look at Coventry's results over the season. They've been so random, right? They got spanked. There was a Hatters fan on it earlier, and they got spanked by them, and then they went on to beat Fulham. So really, really difficult one to say. And I think it's going to be windy and crazy. I'm going to go for a Bournemouth win, 3-2.
Lovely stuff. Lovely stuff. I'm going for a 2-0 today. Solid 2-0. We're going to be outside the 1910 bar, just the entrance to the car park, just on the other side of the fence. If you want to come on, have a chat full time, we would love to hear from you. Until then, wrap up warm. It's freezing. See you later.